You got one life, for crying out loud. You might as well just give it all you got.
The Deej, Dan Jordan.
Your daily dose of reality. Your daily dose of the Deej.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I need my daily dose of the Deej.
I make the news. I don't watch the news. I'm a leader.
The Sales Energizer, Dan Jordan.
Listen, don't worry how to sell, baby. Worry about why people buy. And it's fun.
You don't need a 5-hour energy. All you need is the Sales Energizer.
Just when I think it's not going to be as fun as the one before, each one gets successfully better. What's the word I'm looking for? What's it going to take to get you into this car today, huh?
And now, please welcome the Sales Energizer, Dan Jordan.
Boom! That's exactly it. Do that. Let's do that.
That's exactly it. It's Wednesday, baby.
Successfully. You know, sometimes you do screw up and you just can't get a word out, you know?
You know what I realized that we got to do? It almost seems like every time we start live, we critique the intro video for whatever reason. But
yes.
Like, we've got to get the phrase "success loves speed" in this thing.
Yes.
Right? I mean,
and it does.
It's like, what happened to that?
And it does. Do you know, just today, Success Loves Speed, before this broadcast, I'm in the bathroom because you have to do that before every
here
broadcast.
Here we go. We just started, Dan. It's a family show.
There was a guy in there. And so, but it was the appropriate time. Like, you don't talk when you're doing your business, but after, when you're washing, when you're washing your hands, it's okay to talk. And so I met this guy, and so we talked a little bit business, whatever. Anyway, I got his card. You know, because you're in the bathroom, take advantage. The guy's name is Ace. I wish my name was Ace. I mean,
wow.
You're born number one. Isn't it great to be Ace? But anyway, so I got his card, and I'm going to send him an email a little later. See, right now, it's hot, you know? Success loves speed. You got to make it happen when it happens. And so I'm sitting down today. Normally, I'm standing.
Notice that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know why? I'll tell you why.
Because
the guests that we're having today are so brilliant and so interesting. I'm going to be taking notes, and you can't take notes when you're standing up unless you have one of those desks that go up and down, which I don't have.
Right.
But you have.
Right. You know what that sounds to me like, Dan? That sounds to me like a segue.
Like a segue? Yeah, you know, I am Mr. Segway. So without further ado, please help me welcome the best looking people we've had on this show ever. There they are. You had one job to put your bloody arms in the air, and they could, you know, that's the whole thing.
Maybe you can't see mine because I'm so short. You know,
that's awesome.
There you go. I saw him. There we go.
You guys, I tell you what, we thought, you know, they're business leaders in the chiropractic world, but they look like they should be doing exercise videos. I mean, that was just
yeah, right. Absolutely.
You know, very animated, which is great. I am so pleased to have you here today.
Well, we're excited to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yes.
What an intro. What an intro. I love it.
You know, I used to do lousy intros, but Chris Stone, the world's best producer of all time, right there, coaches me a little bit. And I'm very coachable.
I love it.
And so listen, here's the thing. Usually I get nervous with chiropractors.
Oh.
Yeah, because first of all, you know the whole joke. How many chiropractors does it take to change a light bulb?
Oh gosh,
one, but it takes 300 visits. That's the thing. With the guy. So you're always worried when you see a chiropractor that it's going to be some sort of long-term commitment at first, and then you want to sit up straighter, because you're going to be judged by you people, and then sitting up straight hurts my back, and I got the whole thing. Anyhow,
well, Dan, I just want you to know that if you want to get our whole story, we're going to have to do it in 300 shows. So you better be prepared. Okay?
I love it. That's a bonus.
Yes. Well, why don't you? That's a perfect way to get me to shut up. Tell me your story. I mean, because you guys are apparently a couple here.
Most of the time,
currently still are.
we're we're still a couple.
It's Wednesday.
That's maybe right. Not after the show, but we'll see, right?
So how did you guys get into this crazy thing? I thought you know, aren't you supposed to just go to school, become a chiropractor and just do that? Crack backs? What did you do?
Yeah, you would think so, right? But the reality of it is we have a little bit of different trajectories when it comes to how we got in front of you here today. I actually didn't even know what chiropractic was. And one day I was working at a bank, and apparently I had a bubbly enough personality that this lady wanted to poach me. She slid me her card and she said, whatever you're doing here, I want to take you. I want you to work for me. And I was like, I don't know. I was 16 years old. I liked my bank job. I flipped her card over. I was like, what is this thing, chiropractic? And she said something that changed my life. She said, whatever you're getting paid, I'll pay you more. And I was like, all right, I'm in. Goodbye to the bank. And that started my chiropractic career. And I just fell in love with chiropractic at the age of 16 and decided to become one over many years. So that's how I ended up becoming a chiropractor. And I got to tell you what I did realize, because I worked in chiropractic offices for so long, that in chiropractic school, just like most service professions out there, they don't teach you a lick of business. They teach you nothing about business, how to run your office, how to be an entrepreneur, how to be a small business owner. And so I knew that that was a big gaping hole in our profession, which helped lead me down this road today. So
gaping hole. That's a great segue. So Shawn, listen, you're good looking. Don't get me wrong, but how did you snatch that one? My gosh.
I've been studying sales for a very long time. And this is just a pure testament right here to my sales skills. If I can get Lacey to even go on a date with me, I can sell anything.
True that.
Well, she agrees. Well, that's terrific. And this is above all a sales show. And so people that watch this are into that. So let's just break down just a little bit what happened. First of all, Lacey was scooped up. Not because of her terrific banking skills, or not certainly because of her chiropractic skills. She had no idea what that was. She got scooped up because of her bubbles, as she puts it, because of her bubbly personality. And that's exactly what that's step number one. Yeah. People buy your services because 4 things: they like you, they trust you, they believe you, and then they'll have a desire to do business. But it starts with like. And that's the most important thing of how you can build your practice and build your business. And then, of course, Shawn, he says he knows the most important thing, that everybody is born, anybody who's ever been married or had a boyfriend or a girlfriend is a salesperson. Mm. And so you not only knew how to sell, but apparently you closed pretty well too. So that's good. So now, were you a chiropractor too, Shawn?
Yeah. So I have just a few years on Lacey here. So I graduated chiropractic college in 1995 when Lacey was 14 years old. And I practiced chiropractic in the country of Costa Rica for about 8 years. I had the distinct honor of writing the law that regulates chiropractic to this day in the country. Then moved back to the United States. That's where I met Lacey. And that sort of began this sort of career or path where we are still chiropractors, obviously by profession. Neither of us practice. We own a chiropractic franchise, and we have 13 offices across the United States. But we've really dedicated sort of the last probably 5 to 8 years of our lives trying to help other service providers fall in love with the idea of being an entrepreneur. That's like the big hole, is a lot of people go to a trade school, whether you're a medical doctor, chiropractor, lawyer, accountant. And then when they graduate, they don't know anything about business. But even worse, why we're so interested in having this conversation with you, Dan, is that they say things like, well, I hate sales. Well, how are you going to be able to get new clients? How are you going to reach more people? And here's our biggest epiphany, is we realized that the world's greatest providers, whether it was in healthcare or whether it was an artist or a musician or a hairstylist, the world's greatest service providers, in our opinion, they live in relative obscurity simply because they fail to embrace the ideas of marketing and sales and being an entrepreneur. So nobody knows how great they are because they're not out there marketing or selling themselves. And that is a giant shame that hopefully, we could take a step today towards reaching more people, making an impact on them, helping to change that.
That's perfect. And you're absolutely right. And marketing and sales are two different things. You didn't put them the same. I like to tell people that marketing is what brings people into the door, and sales is what slams the door behind them before they can sneak out. And so you got to get that going. But even worse than not understanding business, they copy other people in the industry that don't understand business.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that happens all over the place, doesn't it?
Well, you must be a chiropractor too.
Yes. And yet, a lot of time, what you could do is you could see the advertisements for a chiropractor and just switch the name of the business. In the ad, and you wouldn't. It's the same exact ad, and they're copying the stuff, the bad stuff that doesn't work. So now, obviously, you've been successful in doing it. Now, do you encourage the chiropractor themselves to get involved in the marketing, or do you encourage them to displace that to some other professionals to do that?
Well, I think that, just like in any company, if you're the CEO of your company, that you should have a working knowledge of what is happening. So I wouldn't displace that, outsource that, sight unseen, and have no idea, because then, especially when there's liability on the line, somebody could write, hey, Shawn just cured cancer in his office, and then I could get in a lot of trouble. So it does require oversight, but let's keep everybody in their lane at what they do best. And again, like I said, you went to school to learn a trade. You're really good at that. Somebody else has spent an equal amount of time honing their craft in marketing and in creating awareness about who you are, what you stand for, and what you can deliver for the world. I would assign that to someone else because, basically I think that there's several types of people, but rich-minded people, they're willing to spend a little bit of money, or a lot of money in many cases, to save a lot of time. Poor-minded people, they will spend tons of time looking to just save a little bit of money. And the way that marketing moves so fast, and what are you going to do? Like watch a YouTube course on social media? You're still light years behind, some of these younger people that have been doing it for years and understand it. So I would want to know sort of a 30,000-foot view, the strategy side of what we're doing. The tactical application, I would definitely be assigning that to someone that could deliver for me.
Well, that's great. Okay, well, that's awesome, and I love it. Now I want to hear from Bubbles over here. So when you're so you're running your companies, but you have a separate company that goes into other chiropractic firms and other type of service industries and helps them. I agree. Okay.
Yeah.
So the question is this. Being a chiropractor has a stigma. Of course, it's a little less than it used to be, but quack science here and there, but it's a little less than it was. But even worse than that is marketers for chiropractors, because they've been so shady all over the time too. How do you overcome that reputation? It's like you're making it's literally like a poop sandwich. So how do you overcome a stigma on a stigma on a stigma?
First off, I'm Italian, so I can make anything taste good, even if it's a poop sandwich, okay? But
Amen. Enough marinara sauce and cheese and you're good to go.
So good. But just so we can get a little bit of clarity here, our business is called the Black Diamond Club. And what we do is we're actually a consulting firm. We're not just a marketing firm. So what we do is we teach entrepreneurs, especially in the service-based businesses, about mindset, which is a very big thing when it comes to running a business, marketing and sales strategies. We actually don't do the marketing for them, but we have a lot of other areas and people that we refer out to. And I want to go back to your question that you had for Shawn, because I think this will help clear up this poop sandwich issue. The danger in marketing companies for chiropractors is that they're cookie cutter. And that's exactly why when you're scrolling your news feed, you see one ad from a chiropractic office and then the exact same ad for another chiropractic office, and they don't even do the exact same thing. that's dangerous. That's very poopy. So when we recommend marketing firms or marketing companies, number one, we want to make sure that it's not cookie cutter, that the chiropractor themselves has such a handle on their ideal client and their target market and knows them so intimately that they can help guide the marketing firm to put out stuff that's relevant and speaks to the ideal client themselves. So I would say, listen, there's a lot of businesses out there that want to put you and fit you in a box, but that just doesn't work. And that's why people get this like shiny object syndrome. They're like, that works for so-and-so. They dump all of their money, all of their time, all of their energy in trying to duplicate it, but it doesn't speak to their ideal client. So it's a bad thing and it doesn't work. So it's about finding a company that will not just put you inside of a box and give you the same thing they gave to somebody else. And so that's what we do. We help people identify their ideal client and find companies that will be a best fit to serve them and serve the people that they serve.
Oh, awesome answer. You know, I mean, that's okay, good. I give you 10 points for that.
Oh, I love it.
So you basically, I'm going to go back to Shawn now. So there's three parts to any kind of marketing program. There's your marketplace, so your target market that you just spoke about. There's the media, which is the distribution where however you're going to distribute that, whether it be online or print or whatever you're going to do. But then there's also the message. And, everybody's message, is a little different and a little the same. And what I see horribly in most advertisements is people who sell chiropractic services. Nobody buys chiropractic services. What they buy is a fixed, pain-free back or something. And so the message has to be crafted similarly towards the problem, but individually towards the person. Do you assist with that, Shawn?
Absolutely. And it's not the easiest thing to assist with, because whatever it is that you provide as a service, obviously you're very passionate about that. So chiropractors, like you said, they like to talk about bones and nerves. And there's this thing called innate intelligence that heals the body from within. They talk about a lot of technical things, but look, accountants like to talk about, numbers and QuickBooks and partial disposition and deferments and all. So that's what they like, but that's not what the marketplace is looking for. And recently we're noticing even a shift that we feel is pretty critical as the country is beginning to potentially deal with an economic recession, at least an economic setback of some degree. And people are beginning to consider how they are utilizing their money. Two things. One, we have to have a really strong marketing message when money gets tight, because people are not just flippantly throwing their money wherever they want just because, my friends are doing it or it feels good. They have to make bigger level decisions with their money. And two, an interesting thing happens is there is a great opportunity to move up market, but the up market messaging is also very different. Up market, you guys were talking about, I loved it in the very beginning, velocity. Velocity is very important when we move up market. How quickly can we deliver the results? High touch, high experience, the messaging begins to change, and we begin to actually shift off of like neck pain or back pain, which upmarket's not that interesting. And it's kind of like what you're saying, like, well, I don't want to go 358 times. I have neck pain or back pain, but who cares? It only becomes interesting when it becomes relevant, when it becomes an issue. So the messaging begins to shift away from just, your neck hurts, to performance, to productivity, to efficiencies, to eliminating efficiencies, to creating effectiveness, and doing it in a way at a high velocity that's more effective and more efficient than anything else that's out there. That would allow you to command a higher price point because you're doing it in that fashion. And that then would make your business a little more recession proof if indeed we're heading down that road.
Yes, that's well. So on a personal note, my family's totally into the chiropractic stuff. And so, they go regularly and all that stuff. I'd stay away from it because I don't like being touched. It's a weird thing. I have this kind of, how people like massages. I just I don't like being touched.
Dan, do you need a hug?
Yeah, I think so. It's my personal thing. But With that said, I also have a fakakten back that's all for plunging. Once a year, I don't move for a week. And so I have to deal with this. But so my family purchased for me, you talk about upmarket, they say I'm never going to go. So they purchased this thing, just a $500, it was almost like a coupon, a $500 coupon. Here it is. It's $500 worth. Go when you need to. And I used the mother up.
Yeah.
And that's how you do it. So even those ideas to help a family member who will never go.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because I'm just thinking about too, we're talking about sales, right? And things that we can do that can be creative to be sales. But the first thing, especially with service providers, because their hearts are so big and they would give away everything for free if they could. Honestly, they would. But the reality of it is you have to get creative in the marketplace, especially when things like this are happening. And so I always tell people when they're like, I don't want to sell a gift card or a coupon for somebody that may or may not come in, because selling feels so sleazy, right? That's what they say. And really what we help people identify and resolve is the fact that if you're truly doing right by somebody and you have their best intention at heart, it's really easy to sell them. It's really easy to sell them. And that's what people did for you. They created a gift card because they knew somebody on the other side was a naysayer, didn't want to use it, but they created an opportunity that they sold to get somebody like you to come in and be able to have resolution with their back. So I love it.
That's great. Well, there's an old phrase, a Jeffrey Gitomer line, which you probably know, which is people hate to be sold, but they love to buy.
Yep, that's very true.
And so put something in there in front of them, which is terrific. All right, so how do you, with that said, so you're running all your franchised operations. I'm sure they all have managers over there. How do you go about getting business for your for this program?
Well, we follow their very classic sort of funnel system, right? So doing podcast interviews on different media, social media, to create awareness about who we are. So this is an effort to create awareness. Hopefully your viewers, listeners have, they're saying, well, who the heck are these people? And we're taking step one. We're creating awareness. And hopefully you guys are so easy to work with. Sometimes you do these interviews and they're like the host is boring. So hopefully people are having a ton of fun. And so they're like, all right. And you're sharing some of the access points where people could look us up, jump in and find out more about us. From there, people would join the Black Diamond Club, $99 a month. We release a weekly podcast every Monday, and there's discussion that happens over the course of the week. And people, many of them get together in accountability groups to further discuss, break down the podcast and implement. We host 3 times a year in-person events. We're super strong on in-person events. We do a marketing workshop, a sales workshop, and a mindset workshop. And up until this last year, we'd also hosted our flagship event called Summer Camp. If you're watching the screen, you're seeing a couple images from Summer Camp, where we would bring in some of our key relationships, collaborative partners, and put on a great show. We're still doing it in a new version. Next year, it's going to be called the Sandbox. We're going to be inviting our friends into the Sandbox to come and play. It's going to be a little more, exactly as I said, high touch, high experience, bringing in a lot of our collaborative partners and allowing them to play, if you will, with these people in the Sandbox to help them to create bigger and better businesses. And so people just sort of scale up. And then we do very high level, high ticket offerings. Lacey and I are off the first week of December to a private island to do a private island mastermind with David Meltzer, where we're going to spend 3 days in 2 groups of 10 working with individuals on their business. So we do everything from free, I hope you like it, all the way up to very high ticket items where we're rolling up our sleeves ourselves, literally collaborative partners rolling up their sleeves, treating your business as if it were ours and giving consultative advice relative to what we think that you should be doing going forward so that you could reach more people and make a bigger impact.
Well, that's terrific. It does,
not your average chiropractors, Dan. Not your
average. So Lacey, do you do the cooking for these events?
Oh, I would if I could, if I wasn't teaching the whole time. But no,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lacey, I'm just there to carry the bags.
That's right.
Well, so let me ask you this. When you make eggplant parm, do you skin the eggplant before you slice it up?
Oh man, wow, you just hit me in the heart right here, because I got a little secret. I know I'm Italian, but I hate eggplant. I hate it.
So do you? Wow. Oh, that's terrible.
I know. It's like
that was very strong.
I'm representing. It's strong hate. Yeah, it's the only vegetable I dislike. Yeah.
Really?
I know.
She's vegetarian. That's how good of a salesperson I am, because I don't like vegetables. But somehow, like, I convince her to go to, Mastro's, lots of steakhouses. I mean, we do well, because I would not do well.
And
on
my
vegetables.
favorite dish to cook now is prime
rib.
So we're
She's
good.
great.
Oh, is it really?
I'm hungry now. So taking it back to sales, one of the things, you see that? I don't even segue. I just take a hard left.
Yeah. There you go.
So one of the things that you said, Dr. Shawn, is you started talking like, the pain points of someone, back pain, neck pain, or whatever. Instead of focusing on that, you started talking about solutions. You started talking immediately about solutions, and then worked your way to dealing with that. And I think a lot of times when we end up talking with people, and it doesn't matter what business you're in, what you're trying to sell, what you're trying to market, you've got to talk about what the solution is for that person. You know what their problem is. You don't have to talk about their problem. You need to talk about what they're going to benefit from, and then work it out on the back end. And I love that philosophy. And I think it applies to so much, and not just in the business that you're in, but these multiple businesses that you're in. And so I'm sure you talk to a lot of people the same way, even if they're selling widgets or if they're the sales energizer. It's all about, talking about the solution and the results.
Well, I want to add to that, because I think that's an important point that you just hit on. And oftentimes that's what we see the struggle is that people are trying to sell a very surface level pain point. Neck pain, back pain, that's very surface level. People are out there dealing with neck pain year after year after year, and then something happens that moves them to take action and go and engage in your service. So the question is, what was it that moved them to take action? That's the actual underlying pain point. And for some people, they have such bad neck pain that they can't pick up their grandkids. That's the pain point. For Dan, your pain point may have been that you were out of commission for a week and you didn't get to work or do your podcast or engage with the people that you love the most. That's the pain point. So the idea is that we're really figuring out the underlying pain point, the thing, the driver, the motivator. And so we're always encouraging people, dig deeper, because it's
all right. Well, hold on, all of it. That's great stuff. Okay. So how do you find that? Tough guy. I mean, it's very easy to stay.
Well, that's not free. You heard about the funnel. You heard about
here I am on the big stage. Look how fancy. I'm going to tell you everything to do. And then, all right, good. So how do you find that pain point?
Well, first off, you can just ask.
Oh, God, I would hug you if we were in person.
I told you.
You actually touch me. I love it. I feel
the no touch guy.
That's right. It's not. I like the touching. It's just the massage for some.
Okay. We're getting some clarity, right? It's literally that simple. And so a lot of times people don't even understand the underlying pain point. So you have to dig a little bit deeper. Mm-hmm. You could say, so like, what actually brought you in here today? Well, I have neck pain. Okay, I understand, but you could easily go and take 3 Advil and get rid of your neck pain. Like, what is it that the neck pain is taking away from you, right? So you have to just kind of guide people down this road, and then they begin to uncover the underlying issue. And here's the deal. When you understand your ideal client, typically the ideal client is dealing with the same pain point across many points of intersection. So once you start asking your clients and they uncover that for you, it's probably actually a really common thing from one person to the next person to the next. And once you figure it out and you begin to speak into that in your marketing and sales, man, life becomes really easy and not sleazy.
I want to add one thing there. Maybe this will help too, because we talked about defining the market, right? Or ideal client. one of the things that we teach is that your ideal client, when I say, what is your ideal client? People will say, well, it's a female who's 45, and they give me all of these characteristics. But one of the things that's always left out, and we always teach that your ideal client is actually a belief system. And so we would look at, in consumer buying habits, what would you have to believe in order to pay $12,000 for a purse? Or what would you have to believe in order to drive a Bentley? Or what would you have to believe in order to go to a chiropractor? If we understood the belief system, the worldviews and frames that they held coming in, one, frankly, it becomes very easy to market to them because we're marketing into their belief system. Two, it becomes very easy to sell to them because we are able to speak into their belief system. And now we're not trying to shift a mindset or change a thought process around something. We can guide them by speaking into their current belief system into the smartest decision for them, which in all cases, the best thing for them is you.
Lacey, I'm done with you. I'm all about Shawn now. That was he's exactly right. So my sister, I remember growing up, and she used to go get her nails done once a week. And she's 19 years old, but once a week she's going to get her nails done. Do you know, till this day, every week she goes and gets her nails done? And I remember at the time, I'm like, what's wrong with you, woman? I mean, what do you do? Who cares? To paint your own nails. And she said this to me: every woman, this was her belief system. Every woman should have their nails done once a week. That's her belief system. Now, if I'm doing her nails, I'm getting her toes, I'm getting her kneecaps, I'm getting whatever else gets done there. That woman is a buyer at that point. Once you find their beliefs, and that was great. I never even thought of that. That's why I said I have to take notes on this show. These people are brilliant.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's great. So you do the same traditional things. You're doing your programs to get a bunch of people here. Do you have success stories that you can share?
Success stories of clients or of
success stories of clients.
Yeah.
Give me something good.
Here's one thing. First of all, let me tell you before we say anything. I've always said this, and first of all great advice is going to always seem counterintuitive. Anything that was said today that's useful for you, it should be something that you were like, what? That doesn't sound right. What do you mean it's a belief system? Because if it were intuitive, you would already be doing that now. Along with that, I've always said, because I practiced for 20 years in the chiropractic space in my office, and people would come to me and say a very similar thing, like, hey man, share with me, some of your miracle stories. And I would always say, and in fact, I think this is one of the things that won Lacey over, is that I always would say there's no miracle stories, because every success that I've seen, I actually expected that. So if you came to me and your business was struggling and you applied the principles and now you're making 7 figures, why would I be surprised? I mean, because that was what I thought was going to happen when you came and hired me on as a consultant. So if anybody is like, look, I had this one time where this one person came and they applied what I taught them and then they found success, I don't think that even should be used in marketing or sales, because it's like, well, that one time, I hope I'm the lottery person myself. What we want is consistent stories. We want to be able to say that, look, here's the deal, is that we're teaching basic fundamentals, the same fundamentals that we wrote about in our book. We recently, on my 50th birthday, we had a 50th birthday promotion, and we gave away, it was over 350 episodes of our podcast. It's a paid podcast, and we gave away the entire library on my birthday. And somebody said, it's fascinating to go back and listen to podcasts from 5 or 6 years ago, and you were saying the same thing. And I said, of course I was. So we're, kind of, as you said, those gimmicky marketers and sales trainers that are constantly changing their MO because the marketplace already bit in and then it didn't work. And so they just, revamped it and came out with a new thing. Well, that's not long lasting. And so we believe these principles. We apply these principles across all of the businesses that we own, that we work with and collaborate with. And so look here, the reality is it's a function of taking applied principles and doing the work. Nobody's ever gotten rich, watching anything on the internet or listening to a podcast or taking an online course or even going to a workshop, you get rich, you become wealthy by applying the knowledge and doing something. So, right now we have 33 of our highest end clients that are seeking more out of life. It's called Quest 7, 7 figures of active income. We're looking to add 7 figures of passive income. So we're teaching them about investment strategies, legacy wealth, things of that nature. But again, I think that anybody that comes into Black Diamond Club begins to consume content and applies it, you're on a trajectory to be in Quest 7 with us in a couple of years, and you're able to be thinking about not just survival, but how can I leave a legacy for my kids? How can I ensure that they go to the best university? I mean, it might be in the metaverse. Maybe they'll be doing metaversical university studies, but whatever it is, it's going to have a cost to it, right? And so how can we protect our future? That's what everybody is striving for.
Chris Stone?
That was the most meta answer ever on Dan Jordan Live.
Let me tell you something.
Also, Dan, I know you took offense when he said no one got rich from listening to or watching a show, and that includes Dan Jordan's show. So unfortunately, he's right, Dan. I'm sorry.
What I really was going to say is this freaking guy can close. That's what I really was going to say. But yes, you don't get great by learning how to be great. You get great by doing. You get great by applying. It's that there's this old book. I think I mentioned it once or twice. The Inner Game of Tennis. I remember I heard this from Tom Brady was talking about this book, and it was about tennis, but it was about practicing your swing the same. Don't learn, just hit the ball, and you'll figure it out. And there was one line in it that I always remembered. It's thank God children learn how to walk before parents get a chance to try to teach them. I mean, you imagine trying to teach somebody to balance, but they do it. They do a miraculous, their feet are like this big. I mean, they tip over. I mean, how do you do that? It's impossible, but they do it because they make little minor adjustments along the way. Right. Well, this is terrific. You two are adorable. I mean, it's unfair.
You are adorable too.
You guys are so sweet. I did want to touch on something that Dr. Shawn said. And I love that mindset of, when you were asked about success stories, and basically you said, I expected to succeed, right? And so I love that mindset and a complete, because in a lot of ways in the business that I'm in, and I hear other people, they use that those success stories of people and how they help to change people's lives in small or large ways as motivational fuel. So what motivates you guys? What motivates you to not just do the chiropractic business, but Black Diamond Club? You guys are obviously doing all the things, right? So what's the motivator there?
We have a couple of motivations, but I got to tell you, we are chiropractors by profession, and we have a very deep love for chiropractic. One of the reasons why we still have 13 offices in our franchise, because we see the impact that has on people's lives, like you said, and how far that can reach. And so for us, one of the reasons that we have elevated the things that we do is so that we can teach other chiropractors to become successful. We realized a long time ago that being in an office and just serving our community wasn't making a big enough impact. We can only reach so many people. And so for us, a lot of the driving force behind what we do is to get those tentacles out there and just teach as many chiropractors on the planet to have the success, to reach more people, make a bigger impact. And then our impact on chiropractic is far and wide. And that fills our heart every day. That's the service side of us that we love the most.
Yeah, you can't give what you don't have. And so we've got to help service providers to be really, really rich so that they have the economic means to make an impact, whether they're donating back into educational systems, whatever it is. But as long as the profession, whatever your profession is, doesn't have a lot of economic pull, you'll never have influence. You can't sway legislation. You can't influence thought leaders. You have to rise up. And so, look, whether it's positive or negative, a lot of the world rises and falls off of economic prowess, right? If you have money, you have stature, you have the ability to move the needle. And so we want everybody to be as successful as possible. And we want everybody to understand it's not a zero-sum game. Your gain is not someone's loss. We can all win. Look at what the government did. They just printed more money. So you don't have to, nobody loses. We just all win.
Well, you know, that's right. And so you talked about mindset early on. And I often wonder that, you know, you watch any movie ever, and it's always, you know, the rich mean kid and the poor, you know, pleasantly, so, you know, they're racing, and of course the rich guy's got the yacht, and then the poor guy's got the rowboat, but somehow they're managed, you know, gets the girl, the whole thing. And there's something that poor is good, rich is bad.
Yes.
And that's a mindset that a lot of people really can't get over. It's inbred. How do you assist people in that?
Oh, this is my favorite topic. And I got to tell you, one of our early mentors, Michael Port, he used to always say, all business problems are personal problems in disguise. And I remember hearing that for the first time and going, it's because your business, your success, your relations, everything is impacted about what goes on in here. And if you've got personal issues that you're dealing with, whether it's externally with a relationship or internally with yourself, man, it's really hard to elevate in your own business. And so one of the things that we've come across is exactly that. Most people that we work with have some sort of mindset issue or struggle around the idea of success, money, and frankly, abundance. Most people can't even charge what they believe that they're worth because they don't believe that there's somebody out there that will pay them that. And so we actually have a workshop called Money Matters, where we sit down for 3 days, and that's exactly what we work on. We work at like your relationship with money. And we talk about that a lot, that in order to overcome the way you think about money, the very first step that you need to recognize is that you are in relationship with your money. What does that mean? That means that you've got to pay attention to it, even when times are tough. Don't put your head in the sand. People love to avoid money when they don't feel like they have enough of it. And that's like the worst thing that you can do. So first step is realizing you're in relationship with it, because when you're in relationship with it, you can begin to change what that relationship looks like.
That's wonderful. You have anything to add with that, Shawn?
No, but I was very impressed. I got to say, like the idea that is absolutely true. And we talk about this, tons of examples where early on as children, we watch these movies. And a lot of them are the superhero movies, right? We watch superhero movies, and it's always that, right? It's the rich bad guy picking on the poor, and then the poor people somehow rise up. There's only one, there's two now, but for us on the screen, except maybe Lacey, there's only one rich superhero, and that was Batman, but he had no superpowers. Now in the Avengers,
there's Iron Man.
Now Iron Man, but he has no superpowers. He just has a super suit. So again, even in that, when you're rich, you can't get superpowers. You still have to buy your way to superhero status. That is something that super gets ingrained in us. And it's kind of eerie how it's like that.
Well, it's programmed. These are programs, and you program yourself to, and so you have to kind of deconstruct that. That was wonderful. And I also agree with what you say, that you can't give what you don't have. But which is everything, which is you can't give compassion if you don't have, you can't give love if you don't have, and you certainly can't give money if you don't have. And I think you guys are giving all of yourselves with this. Speaking of that, any children?
Two.
Yeah, which one do you like better?
What's that?
Which one do you like best? The older one or the young?
No, I'm kidding.
That's good. And are they involved in the business? I mean, do they come and watch your, how old are they?
24 and 22. And so we tried to get them into the business, but you know, you can't push kids to do something that they're not passionate about. And I actually am very proud of the fact that they knew exactly what they wanted to do with their lives. They're very passionate about the things that they do. One of our daughters works for a private equity firm, and she loves it. She loves money. She loves numbers. She loves the hustle. And then the other daughter is a creative soul. She's an artist, and she works for GM and does stuff with their design side of things. And so they really found their road in life. And I don't think we could ask for anything more. Would we love for them to work with us? Yes, because that's our passion. But, it doesn't have to be theirs.
Well, Dan, do these beautiful people on our screen look like they could have children that are 24 and 22 years old? That's incredible. You guys come on.
I'm doing is I'm changing their names. This is it. You're no longer Dr. Shawn Dill and Lacey Book. And Lacey Book? So you didn't change your last name?
No, I didn't change my last name.
Okay. I think that's great. I knew this girl in high school, and I felt so bad for her because she would have to change her. Just the most beautiful name. Her name was Sue Paradise. Oh, is that not the most gorgeous? So if Sue Paradise didn't have enough self-esteem to keep her name Paradise, but you did. So that's awesome. Look.
Poor Sue. Sue did it back.
Sue Paradise. Okay. So what's next on your guys' journey? I know you must have, you've done all that you've done, and I'm sure that everything that you do, just reeks of, goal setting and want setting and planning the future. What's the big audacious dream out there that's going to be reached one day?
Well, I think we just want to continue on the path of creating more and more influence. And like we said, ultimately at the end of the day, if we're helping a lot of people, we want to create the influence. But what we would love to see, and we love that you eventually cracked and went to the chiropractor. We want people to understand that chiropractic is a vital part of being able to just express your full life potential. That's far more than headaches, back pain, neck pain, and that it is somewhat of a secret weapon that allows your body to function at its highest level. But in order to really have that conversation, we're going to have to build more influence. We want to build bigger stages, have more influence so that we can begin to shape the way that the world thinks about healthcare. Chiropractic is extremely affordable. It's non-invasive, no drugs, no surgery. We don't have to have these debates about vaccine mandates and all of that. If the world had more of a holistic mindset when it comes to health. And I think, look, we get wake-up calls like this pandemic that just happened, and people begin to wonder, like, is all of this good? How much is this costing? Is it really working? Am I getting any benefit? I got the vaccine, but I still have to wear the mask. All of these questions that begin to arise. But again, just how we opened up, you can't answer them if you have zero influence. I mean, we could sit here from our house in Naples and discuss it all day long between the two of us, but we need to reach more people. So we're going to just keep building that stage, get it as big as possible, and keep pounding our drum.
Well, hopefully we could help you out, with the gigantic personality of Chris Stone. We have an opportunity here.
That's right.
Go, Chris.
Yeah, well, that's terrific. So with parting words, so how do people get a hold of you and that whole thing?
Best way to reach us is two different ways. Number one, we are on all social media platforms, Dr. Shawn Dill and Dr. Lacey Book, DR. Really easy to find us. And actually, we love when people reach out. Listen, we're always checking our DMs and we answer them ourselves. We don't have like some assistant that's in there typing, messages back to you. We want to know if we can help you in any way, or if you have any questions, reach out to us. We love that. And then lastly, if you're interested in the Black Diamond Club and you're like, I'm a service provider, I want to know more about marketing, sales, and mindset, blackdiamondclub.com will give you all the details about the things that we do.
Well, that's it. Well, with that Black Diamond Club, we're talking about sales and marketing. So there are some things that you say back pain and neck pain is just, very superficial. But man, that's how you got to attract people in. That's your headline. You got to get them in somehow. So with your Black Diamond Club, do you have stepping stones to get in, or is it all one level?
Black Diamond Club is the entry level. Yeah. So you just go right there, sign up. We'll welcome you, promise you, we'll make you feel right at home.
Now, you say you do these podcasts, but do we have access to you on a regular basis? If I have individual problems and things like that, or challenges?
First of all, just from an outside in perspective, we have a weekly podcast that comes out. It's called None of Your Business. It's on free. All of your podcast platforms. Yep, it's everywhere. None of Your Business podcast. Great guests, interesting conversation that goes on there. Also, look, we have our book. Got it here. None of Your Business. If anybody wants an electronic version of the book, shoot me an email, Shawn, SHAWN, at blackdiamondclub.com. Shawn@blackdiamondclub.com. Just say, hey, I'd love to get a copy of the book for free. I'll just shoot you an ebook. You can load it up into any of your readers and you'll have it there. And yeah, we love to make ourselves accessible. Like Lacey said, if you have questions, if we can help you, please don't hesitate to reach out.
And I got to add, the Black Diamond Club community, one of the things that we teach, one of the fundamental platforms is that you need to create community. And when you create a great community, the community becomes a community. So when you dive in, the people that help you the most are the other people in there. They want to elevate you. They want to see you successful, and they want to share in your, not just your failures, but your successes as well. So they hold your hand every step of the way as well as we do. So that's what's really unique about the group that we love the most.
That is true. And I want to thank you guys so much for being here. You've really, it's rare that other people can bring the energy to the Sales Energizer broadcast, but you guys nailed it. I love your whole dynamic together. You're wonderful. The whole Hillary Clinton nod as he's talking. You got the whole thing. You got the whole thing nailed down. For you people watching out there and anybody thinking about getting into business at all, understand whatever business you're in, you're not in that business. You're in the business of marketing for that business. You're in the business of turning it into something, a passive lifestyle that it just adds income to your life. It's possible. These people are here to prove that it's possible. And it's not just for the good looking. It's for people like me and Chris Stone and you too. So make something happen. You don't get great by learning it. You get by doing it. They're very accessible. Reach out to them. Get the book. I'm going to get the book too. That way they'll have their email. They start knowing you. You mix into the community. When you go to conventions, back when we used to actually see people, when you go to conventions, the biggest gift you get is not from the speakers out there, though it's great. It's from the rest of the people and the energy and the friendships and the camaraderie and the community that invariably happens. And I wish nothing but good things to happen to you two for the rest of your lives. I think you're wonderful. I want you to eat well, live long, and prosper. And for you people out there watching the show, oh, I forgot to say, Chris Stone, way to go. Chris Stone is awesome, putting those things on there. Remember, go out there and get them today. You're the best.